Here's Bill Maher on his Club Random podcast hosting Patrick Bet David. And this is a fun little piece where Bill Maher expresses his support for Gavin Newsom for president, but can't seem to think of a single reason why he likes him. So here it is.
Newsom.
He's mad.
How do you feel about Newsom?
Had him on my show Friday.
I saw that.
And I first of all, I love him. You just like a guy or you don't. I've known him for a long time. He's done my.
Let's get this out of the way real quick. The socks, no good on Patrick Bet David, and the shoes no good on Bill Maher. But what is with the socks? I mean, you know, you're being filmed.
Those are his IDF support socks.
Yeah, I just felt like if we don't say that off the bat, it's going to be distracting. It's going to be on people's mind. All right, here we go. Let's start this one more time.
Do you like Newsom? How do you feel about Newsom?
Had him on my show Friday.
I saw that.
And I first of all, I love him. You just like a guy or you don't. I've known him for a long time. He's done my show for a long time. Do I love everything he does as the governor of California? No, I don't. I wouldn't say I'm undertaxed.
Well, so he says, does he love everything he does? The question is, do you love anything he does?
Right.
Because he's asked that in a moment, and we'll see what his answer is.
Yeah, I have issues with this state. He's a guy. One reason I want him to run for president, well, is because he's obviously a winner. This guy could fucking do it. It's insane that we have the guy, but we can't run him because we have to tiptoe around Biden. And
Define a winner.
well, he would win the election.
Oh, so
He would win the election.
So he's a talented debater, speaker, communicator, deflector.
And politician. And he's a smart guy. He's a smart, real guy with a pair of balls. Do I love everything? No, you never do with a politician. But first of all, I think if he ran for president, it'd be great because it would force him to move to the center. Now you're running not just in California. I mean, this is California. It's weirdo.
Are you a
fiery radical that one?
Are you a results-driven guy?
No, I like to watch things fall apart.
I mean,
of course
you wouldn't build a show that you build and win at the levels you won, for decades if you weren't results-driven, right? I mean, you're Bill Maher. What
do you mean? Well, what's the point about results?
That's exactly where I'm going with you. So results-driven guy.
Right.
What areas has Newsom won in? You said he's a winner.
Winner of the election. He could win the election.
But based on what, though? Do you want results? Like, what has he done to California to say he's a winner? What?
Oh God, I don't know. It's too.
Bill, you're a smart.
You know what?
guy.
He made it rain. Okay, dude. It wasn't raining.
Someone you said that. He said, "Great job."
It wasn't raining, and now it's raining. So he's got my vote.
Okay,
you know what?
Respect. I mean, he.
I don't know. I don't follow the news.
Okay, now that would be that is the kind of shit that you hear from your lib relative or your lib friend, and you say they're that word that we don't use, right?
That's what you usually hear from Bill Maher's audience.
Politics as a fucking profession for 30 years. You don't follow the news?
Oh, God.
Like, didn't you just admit that you're not qualified to talk about politics on the air?
It's
amazing.
You
don't follow the news?
That's amazing. It really is. And I think he probably meant that as a self-deprecating joke to get out of it, like, don't bust my balls. Because honestly, what he could have said if he wanted to answer honestly is he's smart and he can win, because the kind of politics that Bill Maher represents and has come to embody is the politics of the mainstream liberal. All they want is management of the status quo because the status quo serves them. They don't actually want their politicians to do anything. So when Patrick Bet David says, well, what's one thing he did that you like? He doesn't need an answer because he's a rich liberal living in LA, making millions of dollars a year. He doesn't need politicians to do anything. All he wants the politicians to do are to be smart, look good, express some vague hint of compassion for the downtrodden so that people like Bill Maher feel less guilty for having ascended an unjust system as high as they have. That must be what it is, because even Bill Maher says, I don't think I'm undertaxed. So if you don't think you're undertaxed, then you can't claim to really care about any of the priorities that you used to pretend to. Because Bill Maher used to say, oh, yeah, I'm for Medicare for all. I'm for not free college, but he said, we should lower college. Right? He used to claim to be part of the Bernie, not movement, but he did tell Bernie in 2016, I hope you win, and he tweeted favorably, of his campaign. Now all that pretense is gone. And that speaks to the libs in general and Democrats in general. When it comes to border, when it comes to crime, even Bill Maher, when it comes to taxes, I don't think I'm undertaxed. So if you don't want your government to do anything, if all you want is a handsome, competent manager of what we have already, then yeah, Newsom's your guy. He could have just said that. But of course, who wants to watch a guy who advocates for nothing? That's the thing. These liberals, they are nihilists. They don't want politics and they don't want leadership to be wielded in any particular direction. They are on no mission. And once a thing is not on a mission anymore, what happens? It starts to wither away and it starts to die because it has no reason to move forward anymore. That's why the quote extremists will always win in the end, because what we would call an extremist is a person driven by something, right? Bill Maher's driven by nothing. The Democrats now are driven by nothing. And so they're doomed to fail sooner or later.
Bill Maher represents exactly what he is. And it is a constituency, a large constituency in the Democratic Party. He represents old liberals who are very uncomfortable with the cultural movements of the younger generations. The pro-Palestine woke, right? The anti-woke. And there are a lot of those people. Like, most of them have kind of, if they still have careers, they're not retired, they won't speak out. He's their avatar. But they all have Trump derangement syndrome. I've met people like that since I've been out here. Like, right. I'm in his town right now. I have talked to people like this since I've been here who will be like, yeah, that whole trans thing. And then the next sentence, well, Trump is evil. You gotta vote for Biden. Right. Like, there are a lot of people like that, man. Clearly, I mean, his ratings are decent, right? I mean, he has one of the highest rated shows in his category.
Well, Bill Maher is also against a lot of the more economic populism, though, nowadays. He didn't used to be. He used to feign support for that. He used to feign support for that. Sure, of course.
So are they.
Yeah.
He's just a neoliberal who speaks against wokeness. A lot of them won't. I mean, a lot of them have just completely gotten on board with it. His audience, insofar as he has an audience that really appreciates his view of the world, they're that. They're these neoliberal Clintonian Democrats who think the cultural battles have gone too far. It's basically just anti-woke Clintonians.
I mean, at this point, he's a pro-choice Republican. I couldn't even say he's a Clintonian Democrat. Most of these rich libs will at least feign support for economic, for more. What's that?
But Clinton was a pro-choice Republican.
Yeah, but most of those people would at least give lip service to the idea that they are undertaxed, right? They would say, yeah, no, rich people like me should pay more. How many times have you heard that out of Hollywood? Yeah, we should pay more taxes. He was against the Build Back Better stuff. He's against all that stuff now. He's just a Republican now. He's just a grumpy old man now is what he's turned into.
Well, yes, but I mean, to be fair, I don't think he's talking about on the federal level. I think he's talking about on the state level. And having today, anyone who follows me or DueDissidence on X, you might have saw I dropped a video of me and Jimmy at Langer's. Now, Langer's is this famous Jewish deli. It's right across from MacArthur Park. And MacArthur Park is this is what the world would look like after a total collapse of civilization. You just got people living in tents, out. It was the most depressing thing, like just out in the rain. It's been raining for 3 days here, as you might have heard. And, man, these people just freaking have nothing, just out there in these tents. This place, Langer's, because it's so famous and the food is so good, because I asked Jimmy, I was like, how is this place still open in this neighborhood? It's like, because the food is that good, so people will go there. But the conditions, I've been to third world countries, man. That was worse than a lot of what you see in a lot of countries that are called third world countries. Right here in Los Angeles. So I think part of that is, well, the taxes are notoriously high in California. To what end? Right? I mean, this wasn't even Skid Row. Skid Row
sure.
was still further, about a mile from where we were. And it was just desperate poverty. You almost feel like there's a total absence of government. So you're taxing people like this. Okay, so where are the results?
But he was against Build Back Better, too. I mean, he was against a lot of that. He was against a lot of that. He said, there was that famous thing where he and Crystal Ball got into it. That was one of our first videos that did really well, where, he was talking about how, all of that spending drove inflation. And Crystal says, well, we don't talk about the giveaways to the corporations. Why isn't that inflationary spending? Why do you only pick on the $600 a week add on to the unemployment? Like, he was against all that shit. He really is just an old rich fuck now. I mean, he is more a Lincoln Project Republican, I would say now, than a Clintonian Democrat, even more so.
Yeah, what's the real difference between those two things, though? That's what I'm saying. Like, that, I don't see.
Yeah, there's
any
not much
daylight
daylight.
between
You're right.
those.
There's not much.
They're basically the same thing.
Please clap.